Good afternoon, YouTube, or good evening, or good morning, wherever you are based in the world. This is the Highland Whisperer here, and this is going to be a short, soft-spoken / whisperer video. Basically, I'm going to read from an article on the BBC Sport Formula 1 website. This year, shall I say, they are going to be doing a rundown on the greatest drivers of all time, as composed by their BBC One F1 team. And due to there being 20 races on the calendar this year, they're going to do a driver per race, starting off with the number 20 of the first race, down to the last race, being what they perceive to be the greatest driver of all time. I got this idea from watching the WhisperNews channel, just a new whisperer as well in the community, and she's got a couple of videos uploaded now, based on reading news articles, which are quite interesting viewing, so go check her out. So I'll just start here. The first driver, as its title is there, the number 20 driver is doing a review on, is Jochen Rindt. Throughout Formula 1 history, there have been drivers who, through ability and charisma, have left an impression that transcends the limited results. Jochen Rindt, number 20 on BBC F1's list of the greatest drivers of all time, is one such man. The Austrian with the boxer's nose is clearly remembered for being F1's first and so far only pompous world champion, killed in a crash during practice for the 1970 Italian Grand Prix. He was not crowned until the following month, after his rivals failed to beat his points total from the season's remaining races. But Rindt was so much more than that. He was one of the most flamboyant and exciting drivers in the history of the sport. His brusque, typically Austrian manner, not unlike that of his countryman Niki Lauda, meant some thought him arrogant, but to those close to him, including his wife Nina, a French model, Rindt was funny, tremulous, and kind. He is renowned as one of the most aggressive drivers, for wild and exciting style, famous for his car control. But like Gilles Villeneuve, a decade later, this came about from a career spent largely in uncompetitive cars, which he needed to wing the neck off to go fast. In fact, like Villeneuve, Rindt was one of the fairest and cleanest drivers of his time, and when he got better cars, his driving became increasingly smooth. Nevertheless, what marked him out was his ability to create moments that took the breath away. One such was at the wet Silverstone International Trophy in 1969. Rindt was making up ground after being displayed by an earlier engine problem, which then cleared. Heading on lap 1 into Stove Corner, in a super fast bend that tested the very best, Rindt was closing on Pierre Courage and Jackie Eek, who themselves had coming up to lap Pedro Rodriguez and Graham Hill. When they turned into the corner, Rindt was at the back of the 5 cars. When he came out, he was at the front. It was say those who were there, one of those moments that makes you doubt what you have seen. The British Grand Prix that year, also at Silverstone, was another highlight. Rindt and Jackie Stewart staged one of the greatest races there ever seen, swapping places for lap after lap. Sometimes a lap they disputed the lead, running at record speeds despite the intensity of the duel. Only when Hockenheim's Lotus ran into problems did the battle break up. It was a fantastic battle, Stewart remembers, yet full of good humour. Occasionally we go through brackets or somewhere side by side, neither of us willing to give way, yet taking care always to give the other fellow room, and we come out of the corner and look across at each other. Few of his contemporaries doubted that Jochen Rindt was the quickest driver of his time. At least once Jim Clark was killed early in 1968, yet he had to wait 4 years after his debut in 1965 with Cooper to win his first Grand Prix, saddled as he was with cars that were off the pace and often unreliable. That meant he had to forge his reputation against the likes of Stewart, Clark and Hill in Formula 2 in an era where F1 drivers also raced in the lower category. Rindt's fortunes changed when he joined Lotus in 1969. He moved there because he wanted a winning car, but it was not an easy decision, for he did not trust the integrity of the design of the legendary team Colin Chapman. There was doubt about the speed of Chapman's cars. There was no doubt about the speed of Chapman's cars, but it was speed based often on paring things to the bone, and as a result they tend to break a lot as well. Rindt was effectively a replacement for Clark, the greatest driver of the era, who had been killed in a Lotus in a Formula 2 race at Hockenheim the year before Rindt joined the team. Chapman had been very close to Clark, but he had always had a frosty reputation with Hockenheim. This was not helped in the first season together, when the notorious high rear wing failed on Hockenheim's car during the Spanish Grand Prix on the fast circuit in Barcelona. He was lucky to escape serious injury when his car overturned after hitting the wreckage of teammate Hill's car, which had earlier suffered the same failure in the same place. Likewise, in 1970, Hockenheim initially distrusted Chapman's new Lotus 72, and it was the older 49 that he took his first win that season, chasing down Jack Brabham in the closing laps of Monaco in stunning style, and pressuring the veteran Austrian Jochen to crash at the last corner of the last lap. Eventually Hockenheim came to accept the 72, and after a run of 4 wins that summer he arrived at the Italian Grand Prix on the brink of the world title. But yet again there was a dispute with Chapman. Hockenheim had wanted to race the 49 at Monza, thinking it would be better suited to the fast track than without the chicanes of its modern format. But when he got there were 3 72s, and Chapman told him to get on with it. There was further controversy when Chapman took off the car's wings in the pursuit of straight line speed. In that specification, the car was very difficult to drive, to the point that if it completely spooked third driver John Miles. Then, in Saturday practice, Hockenheim's car veered suddenly left, approaching the Parabolica, one of the fastest parts of the track, and crashed into the wall, probably because of a rear suspension failure. Hockenheim, not wearing a jockstrap, submarined into the cockpit and suffered unsurvivable throat injuries caused by the seat belt buckle. There was talk at the time that he might have been planning to retire at the end of the season, but the Independent's F1 correspondent David Tremaine, who has written the exhaustively researched biography, believes Hockenheim would have continued for another year with Lotus before joining forces with his manager Bernie Ecclestone to set up their own team. How good was he? Well, Jackie Stewart and Jim Clark, as you will see, have places much higher on this list, yet Hockenheim can run with them on an equal basis and beat them on his day. And Stewart, the only surviving member of the trio, still has the utmost respect for him. That says it all. I'll be doing my own personal review on the Australian Grand Prix that's just passed. Shortly, that will be uploaded in the next couple of days or so. So feel free to leave comments, and certainly leave comments. Obviously this is a BBC website driver list, but please leave your own thoughts about who you think should and shouldn't be on this list, and also for anyone remembers Hockenheim in his prime. I also as well want to leave comments about that. Also as well, thoughts and prayers go out to Fabrice Muamba and his family. For those who don't know, Fabrice Muamba is a professional football player who plays for Bolton Wanderers, who is an English Premier League team, and they were playing a match yesterday early evening against Tottenham Hotspur in the English Cup quarter-finals, and he, near the end of the first half, collapsed on the pitch with nowhere near him than a suspected heart attack, and he was worked on for 7 minutes on the football pitch by medics frantically trying to get him back, and at this current time he is lying in a hospital in North London, critically ill. So thoughts and prayers go out to him. So leave comments. I hope you enjoyed, and see another video next couple of days. Cheers and bye.